Okay, so last video I left you guys with potentially 3D printing or CNCing the bottom of my displacer. I went the CNC route. It ended up being a whole ordeal with JLC PCB. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just 3D print it. It turns out they couldn't 3D print it either. And I mean, you could do anything if you throw enough money at it, right? And so this ended up being, I think for this shape, it would have been like $300 or something like that, which is just ridiculous. I wouldn't pay that at all, right? This is just literally 2 discs. So then I went with a company I've used before, which also makes the springs for this engine, and that's Oshcut. They're a US-based company. 2 JLC PCBs credit the reason it was so expensive is because of the tariffs. But, you know, support US if you live in the US and don't if you don't. So this is what I ended up with. This is a laser cut disc. One is 2.5 millimeters thick, or one is 2 millimeters, one is 1 millimeter thick. This cost me $38 for 4 of these, so a double set. This is what it looks like when it has been fully put on the displacer. As you can see, there's a ledge right here for our metal flashing. So we're going to build the actual displacer today. I did get some copper flashing. It's too thick and way too hard to handle, so I won't be using that. But we'll go back with the original one. So let's open this thing up, which, by the way, I'll tell you about the piston here later. And we have this. This was the model that we made with the lid. Things have changed a little bit, so let's take this thing apart, and we'll see if we can use this as well. Okay, I'm using 2 nuts here instead of 1 nylon threaded nut. I thought I had some threaded nylon nuts, but I don't. Man, this is really not wanting to go on there. Come on, buddy. Here we go. Similar setup at the bottom here. So these 2 will stop themselves from unbolting or unscrewing. But it would be better to have a nylon. So we need to just... That's pretty good, actually. This is the hard part, is that we're going to have to put this on to judge the height. It's just so loose. Okay, the thicker one goes down first. Okay. So you see what I'm doing? This is going to be really tedious, so I'm just going to do it off camera, and I'll turn it back on when we have this thing ready to go. Okay. We're getting closer. Okay, if I had a 4th hand, or a 3rd hand, perfect. But I don't. So let's see if we can just tighten it down enough. Oh man, I almost had it. Well, do I have it? Ah, look at that. I don't have it. Ah, this is going to be... not fun. All right, let's try again. Okay, a little bit of tape on the bottom ended up going a long way. So we have a full metal container. Not done yet though. We also have some high heat ducting tape, foil ducting tape. So this is rated up to like 600 degrees. It should be plenty for what we're going to use it for. Of course I put on gloves and now I can't use what I need to use. Alright. Let's do the top first. I guess more is better than less at this point. I don't really know how I'm going to do it either. I'm going to do it like that. I don't know. So this is literally just more aluminum foil. Used for heat pipes, ducting, things like that. It's not going to be pretty, but it'll do the job. Wow, perfect amount. It was pure luck, I'll tell you that much. So what we're trying to do is trying to air seal and also hold this in place. If this has air leaking in and out at a large quantity, like a small amount's no big deal, then it won't work very well as a displacer, because the air won't actually be moved, it'll just be shuttled inside and out of this. So that's the goal. All right. Starting to get some weight to it. You need to be careful. Once this is fully on here, I'll be able to take the bottom off and add weight if I need to. But I'd like to not have to add weight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run a strip from here to there to secure the sides. I'll go a little bit over. This is not easy. So you don't want to pull the paper off all at once. It does make it harder to apply. So I'm gonna like put it on there, stick it where we want it. Kind of like a vinyl sticker. You ever put a vinyl sticker on? And then we pull the paper down. I went a little bit off mark here, but there's so much extra space that it shouldn't be a problem. I don't expect it to be a problem. The reason I used foil tape instead of some other tape is because it's so thin. This was designed to fit inside the canister, And everything that I add along the edges, even if it doesn't feel like very much, is going to reduce the clearance on the sides. So let me go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll turn the video back on. Finished Displacer. This whole thing, top and bottom plates, double aluminum with the channel, $38 including shipping. This sheathing was 8 feet of it, 10 inches or 8 inches long, 8 feet of it. I want to say maybe 20 bucks. Maybe it was more than 20 bucks, somewhere along those lines. So definitely not in the hundreds. And then this roll of tape was $7. There's your large displacer. I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I think that I could have done a better job with the tape, but no big deal. Let's go ahead and just mock up how this sits and make sure we still have the clearance that we thought we had before. The top of this threaded rod is not great. Okay. It's great to finally see this thing not in some 3D printed version, and like this is one we can actually put inside of an engine and it'll work. Well, I don't know if it'll work. That's it. I'm gonna say it won't melt and put toxic fumes all over. Wow, come on. There we go. Okay. Tighten that. Let's take this off. Still has good clearance. You can see the spring is now drooping a little bit. It's a little bit heavier than it was, but that's good. That'll give us our swept volume oscillation. A little bit heavier than it was. Let's see that. Okay. All right, there's the displacer. Very pleased. That's exactly what we want to see. I think that spring is about perfect too for the weight. We can always add more weight to our displacer, but the fact that it droops just holding it, that's a really good sign. That's the displacer, fully built and done. I told you I would tell you about the piston. This is an Airpel piston. It is a graphite cylinder inside of a tube. I'm not sponsored by Airpot. I won't tell you too much about them, but this is definitely a solution. I think I got this on eBay for 20 bucks or so. Maybe it was 40. We've got a couple of different options here. These are a smaller stroke. I have one over there that's a larger stroke. This is something that I like, but I don't want to use it because the new one, if you were to buy that new, it'd be probably $200 or something like that. And that's not sustainable. I can't count on luck to make this thing, right? Like that makes it no fun. The whole point is to make something that somebody else can make at home or buy or whatever and not just be a ridiculous cost. So I'm going to use this for the sake of science, but I'm going to find a solution that is not so expensive. One of the said solutions is this. This is a sample from Airpot, which I could get a lot of, and this is about 50 bucks. So I 3D printed the bottom of a 1.5 inch with the tri-clamp fitting, and I can show you what that looks like. I suspect I'll have to use this one anyways, because the volume in this is not significant. This swept volume is drastically more than this, so unless I hook up multiple of these, I won't be able to use it. But I do like it, and I do think that it is a good solution. So what am I doing here? Here we go. This goes there. This goes there. Doesn't totally fit the exact same way, but it's very, very close. I could do some better designing. It's printed out of ABS plastic, which is much stronger. And then of course we have the silicone thermal break. So I don't expect this to be a problem temperature wise, but I could be wrong. I'll do some more testing. Oh, yep, it comes in multiple pieces, by the way. So the mount that I have mounts to the bottom of whatever this AirPod thing is. That should be back on there, I think. I may have undone it. There we go. Yeah, see there's like a rubber gasket in there. So this is potentially what it could look like. Likely the final version will be something along these lines, and then I'll have a coil here, the magnet that goes up and down, spring gasket on top.